Good morning. We are live in beautiful downtown Crestline in the San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire, where the morning sun is making all kinds of glare. I'm going to have to work on uh, putting more curtains on the windows, but that's okay. I don't look very good anyway. It's chilly, and Tora Kitty won the battle for the heating pad that I like to sit on. I guess it's the last one I have that actually works, so I'm going to have to buy another one. Another day, another battle, huh, Tora? Cats. Well, yesterday I fired up YouTube thinking I'd watch some entertainment, and every story was the tragic event with Charlie Kirk. Oh, this is just so wrong. Some person shot him at an event at a university in Utah, and he died in the hospital. And this just a few days after the hideous incident on a bus, I guess, or a train, a public transit, with the young woman from Ukraine who came here as a refugee from all the violence in Ukraine. I don't know what this world is coming to. But here we are. Senseless violence all around us. And the mayor of Chicago saying crime was under control, but on Memorial Weekend, more than 70 people were shot and some of them died. I forget how many, but one is too many. Sure, in a wealthy neighborhood, a gated community, a place with private security and police presence, yeah, that's pretty safe, all things considered. But most people don't live there. Most working people just live in a neighborhood, in a community. Where young men are kind of forced into a really bad life. Some women don't want to get married because then the welfare will stop. Some young men don't want to take responsibility for their own children. And this is not just people of color, it's all people. Uh, Working people, poor people. And it's so easy in this crazy time, especially here in Southern California, to just have one bad thing happen and you end up homeless. Sure, there's some shelters when they aren't totally full, but you can't take your pet, no cats, dogs, reptiles, not even fish. So going to the shelter means your pet goes to the shelter and will probably have to be put down, because most people who want a dog or a cat already have at least one. I seem to have 6 cats. I didn't look for them, they just moved in because their humans left them behind when they moved. Uh, wow. And there's a family I know personally where if they go to a shelter, the family will be split up because the lady has a son and they won't allow boys or men and women, males and females, in the same shelter. They have to go to different shelters, even though they're relatives, close relatives. Mm, that was tea. I wanted water. That's coffee. Water's in the middle, I guess. I started the day with Alka Seltzer. Got one of those headaches. Uh, I guess it might be migraine, but I call it a sinus headache. When my sinuses clear up, the headache goes away. I'm constantly on the edge myself, but because I bought a house 25 years ago, the even though the interest rate is pretty darn bad, it's almost 10%. The monthly payment is doable as long as I'm careful with my money, my Social Security mostly. But I'm still way under the poverty line, and prices keep going up. All the utilities in California charge a monthly fee: gas, water, and electricity. You pay this minimum before you actually use any gas, water, or electricity, and your usage is added to the fee. And if you go over a specified amount, for example, in the winter when it's snowing and I use my gas heater, I go above the base line, and anything over that they charge more per cubic foot or whatever their measurement is. And then there's another level. If you go over the second level, it's even more. I don't use a lot of electricity. It's more costly than gas and less efficient, but because my oven doesn't work on my stove, uh, I've had to resort to an electric I forget what you call them. It's oh, toaster oven. It makes toast and it bakes things. It also broils. And then it's getting really tight. And yet I always know someone who's worse off, like the gentleman who lost his job and couldn't pay the rent. He's living in a trailer on a friend's property, but I rarely see him because he doesn't always have money for gas to drive here and it's too far to walk. These mountains have some really steep slopes. It's like, yeah, you can walk down to the grocery store, but carrying the groceries up the hill to get home is going to kill you. I come on early now. I try to come on by 7 in the morning because my internet tends to go down around 8 o'clock. Oh, good morning, Witta. Oh, I didn't post that. Welcome in. I typed good morning before I went live, but I forgot to click the arrow to make it post. I actually might have 8 cats now. 2 cats that had disappeared for several months have come back. I'm hoping that our local charity took them and got them spayed so they won't make kittens. If they start making kittens, I can't deal with that. I did it once, taking me from 2 cats to 4. And then 2 more just moved in, not at the same time. About a year ago, Smokey Sue moved in without asking, and this year, Grandpa decided to move in. He's an old tomcat. I just about went broke getting Smokey Sue spayed. I haven't got the funds to get Grandpa neutered. I tried. I was saving up for his surgery, and I simply could not get him. First, I couldn't catch him, and when I did catch him, I could not get him into the carrying cage. I tried twice, and now he's so spooked he'll come around looking for food, but he won't let me pick him up. Just feeding the cats is getting outrageous. Oh well, I'm having adventures in cooking. I've got to do some editing. Well, on my cooking channel, I've got to put in some keywords or something to get more views. Well, the cats mostly get the cheapest kibble I can find. The prices vary, like one week this brand will be cheaper, and the next week that other brand will be cheaper. That's why I set up a PayPal just for the kitties. And then I order online because I can't carry like a 12-pound bag into the house. I'm not supposed to lift anything over 10 pounds, and really 5 pounds feels better because of my back. I get Chewy to deliver them, but I have to spend at least $50 or there's a shipping fee that pushes the cost up too high. And then if I get a big bag, it's right by my door, so all I have to do is drag it in. I don't have to pick it up. Oh, wow. What a problem. In some cases, I do have table scraps that are okay for cats. But you have to be careful what you feed them. And I really wanted a dog, but God sent me cats. Oh well. I have not given names to the two female cats that showed up. Oh, hi, Parmenides. Welcome in. Oh boy. Hi, I'm tired. I know I'm supposed to cover my mouth when I yawn, but I've got my hands under my legs to warm them up a little. It's chilly and Tora has possession of the heating pad. I'll have to get a second one. One for me and one for Tora. Every time I got up this morning, Tora hopped onto my chair with my heating pad and refused to get down and fought me when I picked her up. Uh, so I put the heating pad on her penthouse. She's very happy. See? That's a happy kitty. And it is chilly. We're finally over the awful heat, but now it's too cold. We've had very few days that were just comfortable. We were either roasting or freezing. In July, it would be 40 degrees overnight and 85 in the daytime. We had a few 90s and even 95 a couple times. That's Fahrenheit, guys. It's hot. Now, it's just, it got to the point where I felt cool when it was only 80 degrees. Now it's like 40 or 50 overnight and 60 or 70 in the day. And in winter, it's like 20 overnight and 40 in the day. But you get used to it. But these past few months, the weather has changed so often and so radically that I couldn't get used to the heat or the cold. Anyway, I had to go ahead and kick on the heater this morning. First time since last winter. Well, the computer says it's 53 degrees. It isn't usually correct. Yeah, the phone says it's 49, but it will become 54. Um, well, I have a message. I can get that later. Okay, evil phone. I went to the DMV yesterday, to renew my driver's license, and I could not read their eye chart. I could read everything around me, all kinds of signs and stuff and posters, even things that were twice as far away as the eye chart. But the eye chart just looked like a whiteboard with a few random black marks. I think it's a computerized thing, and I think they do leave it blurred so you can't memorize the letters when so you know what they are when they test you. I think they forgot to put it back in focus. I did all kinds of research when I got home, and that appears to be the problem. Because my eyesight is not that bad to where I can't see anything on the chart. I think they're nuts. Oh well. And apparently, I cannot get real ID because my first name is not the name I use. It's just the first name. No one ever called me Leslie. They always called me Tess or Tessa. So I use that. Um, Apparently, I'm going to have to go to court and get a judge to agree to my new name. That's the only document they'll accept. I just hope the judge accepts what I have. It's ridiculous. And the reason I went to the DMV for uh, Real ID is that I can't afford the fees for a passport, and at the DMV, well, I think I'm back. I think I'm back. So, what I have to do is go to an eye doctor and get the form filled out and go back to the DMV. All of this for someone without a car who lives on a mountain and has to go down the hill because there's no DMV up here. Yeah, it's $45 to renew the license. They took my money, by the way. They made me pay. For a legal name change, if I show the judge that I'm on food stamps, he'll probably waive the court costs. But there is a fee to file the forms. You can't waive that. It sucks. Yeah, well, I'll worry about Real ID some other time. I don't plan to go on an airplane anytime soon. Back in 1973, when I started going by Tessa, you did not have to get your name changed legally as long as you always use that name. The only place I had to file a name change with was Social Security. Well, I can't get to court and the eye doctor and the motor vehicles soon enough, so the going to court will have to wait. Oh, it's ridiculous. Well, thanks to millions of illegal immigrants, we all U.S. citizens have to go through hell just to prove who they are. It's ridiculous. I do have all kinds of documents, but they don't accept the ones I have. I'm going to try one more time on their website because I discovered that my son's birth certificate has both my names. They might accept that. It has my maiden name typed in as his mother, but I signed it with my married name. I was married when he was born. Gosh. This headache is going to kill me. Yeah, they are paperworking us. It's kind of like a Kafka novel. Oh, I was going to uh, read a summary of a play by Henrik Ibsen. Gosh, now it's getting dark. Okay. Uh, Ibsen, you bozo freaking Google. Cliff's Notes. Henrik Ibsen. Henrik Ibsen. And the play is called An Enemy of the State. We hear that term, enemy of the state, fairly often nowadays. Cliff's Notes. From share. Okay, I'm sharing. I guess I'll put their link in the chat. Dr. Stockman has discovered that the new baths built in his town, they're like public swimming pools, only they're for bathing. The mayor, who is Dr. Stockman's brother, does not believe pardon me, I skipped, has discovered that the new baths built in his town are infected with a deadly disease and instructs the town to repair or close the baths. The mayor, who is Dr. Stockman's brother, does not believe the report and refuses to close the baths because it will cause the financial ruin of the town. Dr. Stockman tries to take his case to the people, But the mayor intercedes and explains to the people how much it will cost to repair the baths. Explains that the doctor is always filled with wild, fanciful ideas. In a public meeting, he has his brother declared an enemy of the people. The doctor decides to leave town, but at the last minute comes to the realization that he must stay and fight for the things he believes to be right. Okay, I think that's enough. So basically, um, he's fighting a losing battle. It sounds kind of familiar, kind of like things that have happened to us in the past 5 years and things that happened before that. And now, apparently, RFK is an enemy of the people. He's banning some of our favorite junk food. Well, actually, what he's banning is the dyes and sweeteners that are really bad for us. For example, I got electrolytes. I need electrolytes. I can't find any that do not contain artificial sweeteners. Most artificial sweeteners give me horrible nausea, and I really don't want or need them. So I've resorted to putting a teaspoon of salt in a glass of water, because really all these things they sell basically have sodium and chloride and nothing else. And I can't afford the super expensive ones that actually have good stuff in them. But you can improve the salt water with a little lemon juice and honey. So I'll try adding the lemon juice and honey. I already often put lemon juice in the water I drink. Honey is good for all sorts of stuff, and so is lemon juice. So why not? Oh, Lord. It's ridiculous. Now that I've started reading ingredients, certain chemical dyes are outright banned. They're already banned in Europe, and I think in Canada, at least some of them are. Like red 40 and blue this and green that, and one of the yellows. And red 2. I don't remember all of them. So for example, Fruit Loops here have bright, blooming colors. In Europe, where they color the Fruit Loops with natural dyes like beet juice and blueberries, they're a dull color. They still look good, and they don't have these crazy chemical colors in them. I'm betting that the food over there probably tastes better, unless you're hooked on the high fructose corn syrup. That's going to be banned, at least in children's school lunches. The high fructose corn syrup. I have corn syrup in my kitchen, but it is not high fructose. It's just corn syrup. It's still made from GMO corn, but what can you do? You know why corn is cheap? Corn farmers are subsidized, which started when they started adding alcohol to gasoline. California does a lot of that. I think it's only in the summer. It's either only in the summer or only in the winter. And then the formula changes with the seasons. Weird. That isn't water. That is. Oh well. Anyway, um, well, still tired. I didn't sleep well 2 nights in a row. I'm tired, but when I lie down, I can't fall asleep. Our One of our foundational businesses up here, the A Burger, has reopened after about 5 years. They finally met all the code requirements that this county imposes on businesses. So I finally got a burger there. They're the A Burger, and it's really good, and it's cheaper than McDonald's and much better for you. And I got their onion rings. They're really good. Yeah, they reopened. I think 2 weeks ago, but it might be only 1 week ago. Well, not just paperwork. The code enforcement will decide, oh, you don't have enough electrical outlets. You'll have to get a permit to put one in, and you'll have to use this contractor because we approve of them. Stuff like that. I once knew a man who had opened up a deli, but before the opening, he had the special required uh, sheets of some kind of plastic boards uh, installed. But the inspector came out and said, well, those are the wrong ones. You have to buy from this other company. The other company charged more, but he was either friends or a relative of the inspector. So he had to get all that work taken down and hire the guy who had an in with the inspector. And it delayed the opening. Oh well. They will cite a business for the silliest things. But the A is back now and very popular, partly because of its history. And even though it has new owners, they knew the original owner. What she did was when A&W closed, she bought the building and all the permits that they had, and she just took off the and W from the sign and made it the A Burger. Saved money on signs. Oh, wow. But it used to have indoor seating, and the county said, no, the building isn't big enough. You can only do takeout. So we can only go up to the window, buy the food, and take it home. But that's okay. It's still good food. Wow. I don't eat at McDonald's anyway, but many people who used to are not going to anymore. Ah, wow. Sorry, I'm tired and I have this headache and it's cold. And Tora stole my heating pad. Rotten cat. But she is so happy. I guess it's worth it. Ah, wow. Wowzer Bowser. Yeah, it's ridiculous how both the state of California and the county just get in the way of new business and even existing business. They pretty much bullied us on the mountain into a special property tax increase by threatening to take away one of our fire stations. And after the election was over and the people voted to tax themselves, we learned that they're building new fire stations in several cities down the hill in the flatland. But we really needed another one, and what we got was threatening to take away one that we already had. Oh well, our firefighters are mostly people who live locally, and they are really good at what they do. They've saved these mountains more than once. I think it was last fall. I'm sketchy on the date, but there was a big fire at Lake Silverwood, which is down the hill on the north side near Victorville. And it started to come up the mountain, and our firefighters stopped it because it was parallel to a main highway, not a freeway, a highway coming up the mountain from the north. That's usually the road we use for evacuation because most of the fires come up the south side of the mountain, and they're usually arson, by the way, or human caused. For example, homeless people trying to cook their food or keep warm. They just don't know what they're doing. Oh, yeah. As I am often saying, our firefighters are all heroes. Even the assholes among them, and they know who they are, they're still heroes. Before the scumbags moved out and I got new neighbors, the firefighters were tired of coming to one particular house on this street. It was a woman with, I don't know how many children, I think 6. And they were constantly needing ambulance service. They finally moved away. They were renters. Maybe it's their cats that I ended up with. Anyway, have new, nicer neighbors. And they did have one ambulance come about a week ago, but with the former tenants, it was almost once a week, every week. And the squatters finally got kicked out of the house next door to me because the county condemned the house. But someone actually bought it and is fixing it up to resell, to flip. Good luck, because I know it had to have a major repairs inside and out. But I'd kind of like to have neighbors instead of an empty house, but it's better than squatters. Lord. Yeah. I used to have some, way back, at least 20 years ago, I had some little models, kids' toys of various fire engines throughout history. And I was going to resell them, but someone suggested that our firefighters would like to have those. Some they would give to children, and some they would put on display if they were like a real um, vintage, not the original antique model, but designed like a historic fire engine. So that was very nice. And I couldn't get what they were worth on eBay or a yard sale. So, and I got them cheap. So, anyway, that worked out well. Very strange days here. Yeah, some of them are on display at various fire stations on the mountain. The ones that were more modern, they gave to children who were, if they have a teddy bear, they'll give a child a teddy bear when they're on the scene with an ambulance or a fire. And so many local people donate things like teddy bears. I don't have much to say except rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, and pray for the people, the loved ones he left behind. I've seen a few clips of him, giving his lectures and talking with people in the audience. I refuse to even try to find the actual incident. I don't want to see that. I'm told it was really gory. And then I guess it was last week, that poor young woman from Ukraine. What is happening to us? Where does this barbaric and violent behavior come from? Oh, could be drugs, could be propaganda, and crazy people. People who need some mental health care. We've done away with what they used to call insane asylums. State hospitals that used to house people who had nowhere else to go. When California shut them down to where the only people left in state hospitals are either bedridden, they can't get out of bed, or they're convicted criminals. Many of the people, they had to kick them out. They didn't want to leave, it was their home. They were unable to function in society. And I remember in the early 80s, all of a sudden, there were so many homeless people. You never used to see them. I'm sure they existed, but after they closed the state hospitals, these people had nowhere to go. And they really needed some mental health care. Some needed physical health care. And they were just out on the street and goodbye. Uh, Keeping you in a hospital is inhumane, so we'll kick you out on the street. We can thank Pre- Governor Reagan and Governor Brown for most of the damage. But now California really has cut off all the alternatives except, oh, go talk to a counselor once a week. Yeah, we know you're homeless, but we're not going to help you with that. And anyone who has been on drugs, addicted, knows that going to counseling once a week or an Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous, that isn't going to do it. They need to be confined so they can't get the drug, and with medical care to help with the symptoms of withdrawal. They aren't getting that. California sucks. Don't you dare make Newsom the president. He'll turn the whole country into a cesspool. Our farmers are going without water because for the environment they have to pump all that water out into the Pacific Ocean. How dare you try to water crops with it? We could feed the world with what farmers can grow in the Big Valley. I forget its real name. We just call it the Big Valley. Kern County, like Bakersfield and Fresno County, are most of the Big Valley. And the water that used to flow naturally off the melting snow in the Sierra Mountains has been diverted. So the farmers don't have the groundwater they used to depend on until there's a gigantic flood, which happens every few years. And since the land is so parched and the water is flowing so fast, it really doesn't help to replenish the underground aquifers, the groundwater. And it, rather than watering the crops, it drowns them because water management has removed the streams and tributaries that used to carry water without just going into the ocean and without flooding everything. It's ridiculous. Farmers aren't allowed to engage in proper water management and flood control. Oh no, that's bad for the environment. There's some fish or some lizard or some mouse that depends on being drowned in a flood this year and burned up in a fire next year. That's natural. God. Our mandate as humans is to care for the land and the animals, not to leave them alone to the ravages of a savage nature. Lots of things are natural and not good for you. Oh well. Poisonous plants are natural. That doesn't mean you want to eat them. You don't want to go near poison ivy or castor beans. Um, what are those flowers? I've forgotten. There's this flowering shrub that's terribly poisonous, and yet for decades California has been planting it on the sides of freeways and in other public spaces. I can picture it. I know what it smells like, but I can't remember what it's called. Oh well. I think, I hope, I pray code enforcement is happy with my yard. I can't believe they told me I had weeds that were too tall. And they showed me a picture of my hollyhocks. Hollyhocks basically are a low lying shrub, but once a year they put up a flower spike. Its diameter is less than an inch, but it can grow really tall. Some of mine got 6 feet tall, but they aren't weeds. Now, after some time, the flower spike goes to seed. It dries up and tosses seeds all over the place. Well, at that point, I do cut down the flower spike because it's dried out. But they aren't weeds, they're just beautiful flowers. They told me to sweep the pine needles off my roof and showed me a picture of a clean roof with a shadow on it from a nearby tree. I did discover a very tiny, small area where it wasn't pine needles, it was what we call tree dirt, twig and dirt from a cedar tree. Cedar trees don't have pine needles. So, and since I couldn't go up on the roof to sweep it off, I got a man to do it for me. So I guess I've lost my feminist credentials, as if I cared. I'm not above asking a man to help. Uh, wow. Well, shoot. It's a nice morning. I think I can turn off the heater finally. It's, what is it? It's about, can't still be 53. It isn't in the house. Yeah, it's 57, 59. It's 59 degrees. That's close enough. I think we lost Parmenides. And I think we're going to lose me pretty soon. Let's turn off the heater. Come on. There. Oh, Grandpa wants to come in and eat all the cat food. I've got to get going. I'm really upset. Prayers for the demons to leave those demented, violent people, and prayers for the victims and potential victims and those they left behind. So I guess I better sign off. Okay. Come on, keyboard. Thank you all and have a good day. I can't say great with the recent news. So let's pray for those who, let's pray for everyone in the whole world. The whole world is nuts, especially California. So don't you dare put gruesome Newscomb in the White House. I'm suffering under his rule, but I'm kind of stuck in California for various reasons. Okay, I'll catch you all later when the spirit moves me to come online at some random time on some random day. See ya.